This is a short film of my favourite and longest ride of 2016. So I started off in Wales and at the leisure centre where I could park for free, and it linked up with the cycle network and it brought me to the foot of the Mendips almost immediately, and there's this long climb up here and it's quite steep and it's quite busy. I was stopping to take some of these long shots. It was quite dull. This is about 11 o'clock. I started this ride. And this is looking south towards over the Somerset levels, so I was going to come back this way. Anyway, I've just repeated the shot with me in the picture. I've just got, with the new camera I can do this picture within a picture, but it's quite tricky to do because you're kind of like looking at the scenery and trying to get yourself in the shot as well, so it's pretty hard. Anyway, this is the top of the ride, and as usual the top is not necessarily the best view. So it's, the best views is actually slightly lower down, but this is what it gives you some idea of what it's like. And once you get to the top, it's fairly flat along the top of the Mendips hills, so it's a bit misleading. You're on these hills, but you don't feel like you're on a hill. So the road is a B road. It's about 5 miles through Priddy to the top of the Cheddar Gorge here. I have been to Cheddar Gorge before, but it's so long ago I can't remember when. But I've certainly been up it, and I think I've been down it, so I think I've been twice. Anyway, I decided to kind of like, instead of going down all in one go, I was stopping to take shots. So you can see this impressive granite rock, and as further you go down, the more impressive it gets. The gorge is really nice. But when you get down to the bottom, which I haven't filmed, it's the touristy part of Cheddar, and it's absolutely packed. And it's difficult to park by the looks of it to me. So coming on a bike is a good way of doing it. So it twists and turns around. You have to be a bit careful because there is a bit of traffic, so you can't just dawdle down. Anyway, I stopped and had a sandwich after. I'd only been riding for about an hour, so I had my lunch down in Cheddar. And this is looking back along the cycleway from Cheddar. That's the gorge in the background there. So there's a cycleway heading towards Weston Mare, and then it uses roads as well, mostly roads. But you can see here the cycleways, you can ride the road bike on it, it's quite nice. So it's a terrible thing to say, but I'd never been to Weston Mare before, so it was my first time and I didn't film. You can see it just there. And the cycleway kind of like doubles back along the coast, and it's not all road. It's, you know, for a road bike I had to push some of the way. It was okay, but it's very nice. You can see the Mendips there in the background. And the weather was much nicer in the afternoon, middle of the afternoon now. This is getting on to about 3:45. So the sun had come out, it was absolutely gorgeous. And this is the very edge of the levels, really. And this is Burnham On Sea. This is really nice as well. A very small seaside town which I've never been to. And you can see the Severn Estuary here. This is what Weston Mare looks like with all the tide out. So I didn't go walking on it because there's quicksand and I didn't have time. Anyway, the final 17 miles was across the Somerset levels using very quiet roads, and they're really long and not much traffic at all. This is quite near Glastonbury, bypassing Glastonbury. So the tour's in the background here. I've got another shot coming up of me trying to film myself at the same time. So I couldn't decide which one to cut, so I've just left both in. But cycling across the levels I think it's really good. It was really good fun because the tarmac's pretty good in the main. It's quite smooth, so you can go a fair old whack, and it's so straight. You can just go at a cruising speed, at a high speed. It's really nice. So by the time this is after 6 o'clock in the evening, so it was still very warm and not too hot, but the wind was in my favour, going in the right direction. And you can't like get lost in these levels. It's almost like a different world. But eventually you get to the other side, and I got back to Wales about 7 o'clock. So I was out on the road for about 8 hours, did about nearly 60 miles, 2 meals, quite a lot of filming, and a grand day. I'm going to do this ride again sometime.